So today I would like to talk about self-efficacy. What is it and how can we gain self-efficacy? So per definition, it's a psychological term, and I will just explain it in my words. So self-efficacy is the ability and the knowledge based on experience that one can face any sort of adversity or new challenging situation and not just face it but also manage it, knowing that one can do it, having the faith in oneself and one's ability based of course on experience, not just blindly throwing oneself in something that we cannot handle or we don't know, but really based on that experience. And that psychologically can be attained in different ways. So we can practice with a belief system, with idioms and positive affirmations. That is often done in positive psychology, and also gaining positive experiences where we challenge ourselves a little bit and then feel that we gained some more knowledge about ourselves and tune in with our abilities and also disabilities. But also, if you go deeper into this self-efficacy, it's also about feedback. So we need to have other people teaching us, guiding us, and then walking on their steps a little bit, and then experiencing that we can do it and it's manageable. And once we have done that, then we also start doing our own baby steps, become more it becomes more challenging for us when we lean forward out of our comfort zone and towards more into the direction of improvisation. So many people are scared of improvising and improvisation. If you look at media, society, whatever, public speaking, I would say that majority of people are actually not improvising at all, even in any kind of category. It's usually about learning something and then studying it and then perfecting that before performing. People read from a script, anything, whatever, Instagram, public speaking, politicians, all of this, most of these things are read from a script. So same by the way in singing. If you ever go to a concert, most singers sing through the software of autotunes. Sometimes we don't even notice it, but there is a lot of technology involved. Many don't even sing at all. They just pretend they're singing. It's just pre-recorded. So we have to become aware of this in our society in order to gain confidence, because we are basically surrounded by people and by media and by all the things, outlets that we experience, that we take in, which are based not on improvisation at all, but on preparation and studying and so forth. So basically anyone could do that, more or less. So to improvise, this is the actual art in everything. Then again, we need to study something before we can improvise. We cannot just say, okay, I will take the brush and just do calligraphy without ever having learned any kanji, Japanese, Chinese, science, or ever practiced it, right? That will be not improvisation, obviously. Like Picasso, he was a great painter, he studied, he perfected his technique, and then he let go of the technique and he was painting basically like a child. But in order to do that, we have to study, we have to first learn some basics at least. But then again, it is said that children are the best calligraphers. Yet again, they are first learning at least some of the symbols, some of the signs before they can do that, and there is some training involved. So I believe that we don't need to be training for 20, 30 years or anything like that, but a basic training in anything, that we have a base is good. But here comes the point: once we have a base in one thing, then we can use that in other disciplines and may not need to learn the basics there. For instance, if you learned the essence of Zen meditation, you will see that you can actually use that in so many ways. You can use it in dance, you can use it in teaching, you can use it in public speaking, you can use it in martial arts. So there's in anything, basically, you can apply that once you learn the essence of it. But it doesn't need to be Zen, because the essence of Zen is basically the essence of everything we do or all our life. And that is surrender. So when you learn to surrender in the right way, by forgetting yourself and finding yourself at the same time in what you do. It's not just about forgetting yourself. You have to also find yourself. If you just forget yourself, you just end up in emptiness. So by forgetting and finding yourself simultaneously in what you do. So you play, let's say you play piano, you forget yourself in playing piano, and at the same time you become the piano. You become the music. And at the same time you become the music, you are also within yourself. You're expanding, you're not regressing, you're not becoming smaller, just the music, just the piano, but you're inclusive with everything, including yourself, including your body, including your emotions. So all of that, this is, if you learn this, then you can apply that to meditation. You can do Zen, you will be a great Zen practitioner. So this is the way. And so back to self-efficacy. So psychologically, it is just about building up confidence. But from the Zen perspective, it is also about, just a moment, self-assurance. And self-assurance comes from connecting within yourself. So it's not just mental work, it's not just experiencing things and then feeling that, oh, I can do it, but it's really tuning in with yourself, connecting with yourself. Children do that naturally. So when children learn to walk, or toddlers learn to walk, let's say, then naturally they are tuned, connected to their bodies. They are more in the body than in the mind. So they are in the present moment. It's a somatic experience. And so this is how they learn. And this is then when we grew up, we forget that more and more, especially because we are filtered through the society, through the school, through the kindergarten system and parenting and so forth, which is usually not based on that awakening experience. And so basically it's an unlearning process. Zen is in a way also an unlearning process, as much as it is also a learning process. And so we have to reconnect with the present moment and feel that presence within ourselves, feel that power that we have within ourselves without needing to do anything, without needing to achieve anything or manage anything or prove anything to ourselves or others. And so this is really the core of self-efficacy. If you don't have that, then we will feel confident, but we may also become overconfident. And that's another big problem, because that is something we can see in our society nowadays a lot, at least in that what is shown to us, that overconfidence, that thinking that we can do anything we want, we are completely can be completely carefree and everything we can manage, but then we end up in very difficult and harmful situations to ourselves or to others. So we can see that in the small, like people driving car and then overestimating their abilities and then having an accident, and sometimes people die involved in that, other people die. And then in the grand scheme of things, on the human level, where suddenly it is totally okay to nuclear war is not something we don't need to be afraid of it anymore. It's just another thing to look forward. So that wasn't the case in my time when I was born. People were at least having respect for this kind of nuclear disaster or nuclear wars. Nowadays, it seems people think they are super beings, superhuman. So it cannot touch anyone, or at least not oneself. So this is definitely, we have to look at this and work on this. So, yeah. That is why self-efficacy needs to be based not only on experience, not only on knowledge, self-knowledge, and idioms and affirmations, but also on that very source of ourself, or very source of our power, which is within ourselves and which we can touch when we meditate, when we tune in with ourselves, tune in with the world, tune in with the universe, with the people, whatever, with everything, include everything, and then find the source of all things. So this is very important. And if you look at how we learn, one of the easy, simple ways to gain self-efficacy is that we just do one simple task, completely simple. It should be very, very simple. It can be juggling, or it can be cleaning the house. It can be really cooking, although cooking is already quite very difficult, actually, very complex if you look at it. So, like the most simple task, and if you learn and practice that little task with full consciousness, full awareness, mindfully, being present with it, and very important, without focusing on a means to an end. So not wanting to just finish it or just do it because you want to move on to something else, or because you want to have a result, but just really allowing yourself to be fully present in the moment with what you do right now, right here, in this very moment, one thing at a time. Once you learn that, once you really learn the essence of it, of forgetting and finding yourself within that one simple task, that is the way of Zen, and that is the way of gaining also self-efficacy efficiently. By doing one simple thing. Like in Shaolin, what they do is just one punch over and over, the same punch over and over and over. Repetition, another important thing in self-efficacy. Repetition and monotony. So just monotone repetition, something that in the West we fear because it reminds us of boredom. But if you really want to get to the essence of things, we have to learn to embrace simplicity and find the beauty and the wisdom in the simplicity, in monotony, and in repetition. Once we have that, then we can actually even do multitasking things. Like right now, I am here fully present with you, with myself, with the environment, with the walking. It becomes one. But before we can do that, before we can have this undivided attention we can expand it, but first we have to learn to gain it. First we have to learn to be in it fully, in a small sense, and then we can expand it. That is it for today. Have a good day, night, evening.